And in question 1, it says that an investor took a loan from a bank that charged interest. The loan and the interest accrued were repaid in monthly installment. The investor repaid 1,500 shillings in the first month, and in each subsequent month the installments were reduced by 50 Kenyan shillings until the loan was fully repaid. Determine the maximum amount that may be paid for that loan. 3 marks. So, from here, in the first case, once you read the question, get to understand from which topic is the question. What does the question test about? So, in the first case, the question is from commercial arithmetic, and also you need to know that there is an application of arithmetic progression in commercial arithmetic, since the loan the investor repaid 1,500 in the first month, and in each subsequent month there was an installment reducing by 50 shillings. Therefore, we can say let n be the number of months it takes to the monthly installment to reduce to 0, because after repaying all the loan, in each installment the final amount will be 0, meaning that he has completely paid the loan. So, and in our case, he repaid as a principal amount, so first term will be 1,500. Then each month the installment reduced by 50 shillings. Therefore, difference, since it is reducing, we have minus 50. Then at the end, after the final pay of the loan, so the last term will be what? 0. That will be the last term. Then, and since it is reducing to 0, actually the question requires us to find what maximum amount. So we expect at the end of it all, now what will be the sum of n terms? That will give us the maximum amount. Now, this will compute number of terms of an AP, that is arithmetic progression, and in term means it is Tn first term plus n minus 1 to bracket multiplied by the common difference. So after repaying all, it is reduced to 0, so the last term will be 0. First term was 1,500 plus, we don't know n. Yes, we don't know n, so it will be n minus 1 multiplied by the common difference, which is minus 50. Therefore, here we get 0, 1,500. Open the bracket, this will be minus 50n, then plus 50. Take minus 50n to the left hand side, we shall have 50n, then plus, will be equal to 1,500 plus 50, which is 1550. Therefore, divide it through by 50, so we end up getting n as 31. But we are not through yet, but now we need to get maximum amount that may be paid for that loan. So we already know n, and in AP, sum of n terms is given as n over 2 into bracket, that is the parenthesis, bracket square parenthesis. So 2a plus n minus 1 divided by b, close the bracket. So in our case here, n is 31, so sum of 31 terms, then we have 31 over 2 to bracket, we have 2 times a is 1500, then plus n is 31, so 31 minus 1, that is 30, multiplied by the common difference, that is minus 50. Then from there, this is 31 over 2, 3000 minus 1500. So this will be 31 over 2 multiplied by 1500. So if you work it out, we end up getting the amount which was repaid is 23,250 shillings. So that's how question 1 was being done. We move on to the next question, and that is question 2. So for question 2, it says 2 machines A and B working independently can take 8 hours and 10 hours respectively to do a task. If that machine C and machine A working together can do the same task in 5 hours, determine the time it would take machine B and machine C working together to do the same task. Now, the first thing as a learner need to ask yourself, this question comes from which particular topic and what concept does it test, or what is being applied? Is it an application question? Fine. It comes from the topic of compound proportion and rates of work, and also we need to apply rates of work in real life situation. So we have machine A, B and C, but A, B, they are working independently. So A takes 8 hours, B takes 10 hours to do the same task, and then you have another machine. So machine C and A working together also can do the same task in 5 hours. So we need to determine the time it will take machine B and C working together. So this is what we are after, time. So we say let T be the time taken for machine C. We actually don't know machine C what time it takes, but for A and B we know. So T be the time taken by C, machine C, to do the same task alone. So in our case here, we have machine A, we have machine B, we have machine C. So total time in hours, total time in hours. So for machine A, to take 8 hours, machine B take 10 hours, and machine C, we have said let T be the time taken for machine C to do that work. Also, if that is the time it takes in 8 hours, so in 1 hour, fraction in 1 hour will be what? Fraction in 1 hour. For machine A, it will be 1 over 8. For machine B, it will be 1 over 10. And for machine C, it will be 1 over T, a fraction of that particular time. And also, the fractional part each machine can do in 5 hours. You can see now C and A working together can do the same task in 5 hours. So, for machine A, fraction part in 5 hours. So machine A, you can see how you have machine, a third machine, C and A working together can do the same task in 5 hours. So for A, working in 5 hours, so in 1 hour it is 1 over 8. So 5 hours it is 1 over 8 times 5, so which is 5 over 8. For machine C, it will be 1 over t times 5, which will be 5 over t. Now, since it takes A and C 5 hours to complete the task, so we had them 5 over 8 plus 5 over t. Since they'll take the same time, 5 hours to complete the task, and you have seen this is a fraction that it takes, so all of it will be equivalent to 1. Sum of the fractional part will be equal to 1, and therefore we can be able to find the value of t. So let us find the value of t. So for this one, we can multiply through by the LCM. We multiply through by the LCM. So, or the other thing is, we can have this as 5 over t will be equal to 1 minus 5 over 8, which will be 3 over 8. So t will be 3. Now t will be 5 times 8 all over 3, which is 40 over 3. And that is the value of t, but we are not yet through. But also, we know that B and C together, working together, they take to complete. So that is what the question is asking. Determine time t. It will take machine B and C working together to do the same task. So we can say let A be the time taken by A, B time for B and C working together. If that is the case, for machine B, it will take a fraction of machine B will take a fraction of, that is A over 10. And that for T, and for C, it will be A over T. Now for C will be A over T. Hope that is clear. So, if that is the case, if the two are added together, that fractional part will be equal to 1. So A over 10 plus A over T is equal to 1. But you already know we can actually factor this out. So A is 1 over 10 plus 1 over, but T is what? 40 over 3 will be equal to 1. So this will be 1 over 10 plus 3 over 40 is equals to 1. So for this case now, whereby we can get this will be LCM 40 divided by 10, that is 4 times 1, 4, then plus 40 divided by 40, that is 1 times 3 will be equal to 1. So A is equals to, now we have 1 and divide by 7/40. So which will end up being 40/7. And 40/7, and that's actually what we want. A will be now 7 goes 5 times, then because of that 5 remainder 5. So it will take 5 and 5/7 hours. That is for machine B and C. And that's how the question was being solved. We can move on to the next question, which is question 3. Simplify 3 plus root 5 all over 7 minus 3 root 5, leaving the answer in the form of a plus b root c, where a, b, and c are integers. 2 marks. Now, this question comes from the topic of Surds in form 3, and in our case here, the candidate is being tested whether he knows how to multiply conjugate by numerator and denominator. In other words, we simplify or we rationalize the denominator. So we have 3 plus root 5 all over 7 minus 3 root 5. The denominator part, we need to find its conjugate. And to find its conjugate, in other words, conjugate means a number that when we multiply by this number given here, the product give a rational number. In other words, a rational number means a whole number. Therefore, its conjugate will be 7 plus 3 root 5. Just change the sign. So, therefore, whatever given, we multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate. So, 3 plus root 5 all over 7 plus 3 root 5. So, what we need to do, multiply the numerator by 7 plus so just this is minus, therefore we multiply here 7 plus 3 root 5 all over again 7 plus 3 root 5. It's as if we are multiplying by 1, so there is nothing we are changing. We are truly changing nothing. So from here, take into pairs that way, and we expand. So I have 3, the numerator, open the bracket, multiply by what is in the second bracket, plus 7 plus 3 root 5, then plus root 5, multiply by what is in the second bracket, 7 plus 3 root 5, all over the denominator we have 7, multiply by what is in the second bracket, that is 7 plus 3 root 5, then plus minus 3 root 5, multiply by 7 plus 3 root 5. Now from here, 3 times 7, we have 21. Then 3 times 3 root 5, that is plus 9 root 5. Then plus root 5 times 7, that is 7 root 5, and then root 5 times 3 root 5, so root 5 times root 5, that is 5 times 3, 15 plus 15 all over, now the denominator 7 times 7, that is 49, plus 7 times 3 root 5, that is 21 root 5, minus 3 times 7, that is 21 root 5, minus 21 root 5, then minus 3 root 5 times 3 root 5, so 3 times 3, that is 9, root 5 times root 5, that is 5, 5 times 9, that is now minus 45. So collect what is the common 21 or like terms or like numbers. 21 plus 15, that is 36. Then the other one, you have 9 root 5 plus 7 root 5, so that is 9 plus 7, that is 16, so plus 16 root 5 all over 49. 49 minus 45, that is actually 4. And the other one, 21 root 5 minus 21 root 5, that is 0. So our case here, now we have it's under a common denominator, and we have to divide it to eliminate the fraction. So that 6 divided by 4 plus 16 root 5 divided by 4. So this will be 9 plus 16 divided by 4, that is 4 and root 5. And now we have actually given our answer in the form a plus b root c. That is it. In that form, a plus b root c. So this is the answer. We move on to question 4. The market value of a certain precious stone varies directly as the square of its mass. One such stone of mass 10 kg has a value of 600,000. Calculate the value of a similar stone whose mass is 18.5 kilograms. So, from here, there are some keywords which can give us a direct prediction from which the question is coming from. And the question comes from the topic of variation, formula and variation. You are testing direct variation in real life situation. So the market value of that precious stone varies directly as the square of its mass. So we don't know the market value, so maybe we can say let A be the market value. And since A is the market value and M be the mass of the precious stone, so the market value of that stone is directly a square of the mass, so A is directly a square of the mass M squared. If we introduce a constant, an equal sign, then we shall have a constant that will be A, have a constant value K, M squared. But we know that calculate the value of similar stone whose mass is 18.5. But one such mass of stone M is 10, and the market value is 600,000. And the market value is A, 600,000 is equal to K times M, which is the mass of a similar stone, 10 kilograms, 10 squared. So K will be 600,000 divided by 100. So K, we get the value as 6,000. So since we have the value of k, now we can write the equation connecting a and m. The equation connecting a and m is because a is equal to k is 6000 m squared. So this is the equation connecting the market value and the mass of that precious stone. And we need to find the value of the stone when m is 18.5 kilograms. So substituting into the general equation, so a will be equal to 6000 times m is 18.5, but we squared. We do so, we shall end up getting 6000 multiplied by 18.5 squared is 342.25. So if you multiply, you shall get the market value of the stone for 18.5 kilogram to be 2,053,500. So that is the market value for the precious stone when the mass is 18.5 kilograms. We move on to question 5. So the perimeter of a rectangle is 48 centimeter while its area is 108 centimeter squared. Form a quadratic equation to represent the situation and hence determine the dimension of the rectangle. So in the first case, this question comes from topic on quadratic expression and equation, and it actually try to apply quadratic in real life situation. So we have a rectangle and the perimeter is 48 centimeter, and also area is 108 centimeter squared. So let the length be p and width be q. Therefore, perimeter is given by 2p plus 2q will be equal to length around the rectangle will be equal to 48. So this is the same as p plus q is equal to 24. So we can call this the first equation. Then area will be equal to length times width, which is pq centimeter squared. We can call this second equation, but in our case area is 108 is equal to pq, so that is the second equation. Now in the second equation we have the first equation. The first equation we can make q equal to 24 minus p, such that we have that equation. So that equation we substitute into the second equation. Therefore we have 108 is equals to p, and q is substitute with 24 minus p. So this will be 108 is equal to 24p minus p squared. We can actually rearrange all this, taking everything to the left hand side, so that on the right hand side you have 0. So this will be positive 2p squared minus 24 is 24p, then plus 108 is equal to 0. Using factorization method, product, since it's a quadratic equation, product AC is 1 times 108, which is 108. Then we find the factors of 108 such that When we add, we get minus 24. And the factors will be minus 6 and minus 18 if you add. So minus 6 times minus 18, that is 108. And if you add, you get minus 24. So we write the middle part in the expanded form, that is p squared minus 6p minus 18p plus 108 is equal to 0. Take into pairs, so I have p, then p squared divided by p, that is p minus 6p divided by p, that is 6. And from here, we have minus 18 is common, then minus 18p divided by 18, that is p. 108 divided by minus 18, that is minus 6. To bracket is equals to 0. Then we take p minus 18 multiplied by p minus 6 will be equal to 0. So, if the product of this is 0, therefore either p minus 18 is 0 or p minus 6 is 0. So we have p equal to 18 or 6. So when p is 6, q will be substituted into the third equation, 24 minus p, that will be 18. And also when p is 18, substitute into the third equation, 24 minus 18, so q will be 6. Hence dimension. Now the dimension normally length by width, so it is 18 centimeter by 6 centimeter. So that is the dimension of the rectangle. We move on to question 6. So two parallel chords AB is equal to 4 centimeter and CD is equal to 10 centimeter lie on opposite side of a center or of a circle. The perpendicular distance between the two chords is 7 centimeter. Calculate the radius of the circle, leaving the answer in surd form. So, this question comes from the topic of chords, circle and tangents, and particularly it applies on or tests on whether student remembers parallel chord, and also how to use Pythagoras theorem and how to leave an answer in surd formation. So we are going to begin by drawing a circle, that is a circle with a center O, Then we have two parallel chords. AB is 4 centimeter and they lie on opposite sides. So this is a key word which will help us. They are on opposite side. So we have this one, AB 4 centimeter, and also we have the other one which is 10 centimeter. And therefore, if that is the case, the perpendicular distance between the two chords is is 7, and let me say it is M, and that is the perpendicular. So passing, so if you have parallel lines and draw the perpendicular bisecting them, it will pass through the center, and since that distance is 7, we have to say let OM be x, therefore the other from O to N, it will be 7 minus x. And here we have, this is 2, 2, 8 is 5, 5. Now, the question requires us to find the radius of the circle, and how shall we get the radius of the circle? So, either through this, OB, or OA, or OC, or OD. Either of them will be fine. Now, in triangle OMD, triangle OMD, so this is 5, this is our radius, that is the radius we have, and here it is x. So using Pythagoras theorem, so we have hypotenuse squared plus adjacent squared is equals to, I mean opposite squared plus adjacent squared is equals to hypotenuse squared. So x squared plus 5 squared, which is 25, will be equal to r squared. Let us call this first equation. Then in the other triangle ONB, at n it is perpendicular, so this is 2, here it is 7 minus x, and here we have the radius. So using Pythagoras theorem, so we have 7 minus x squared plus 2 squared is equals to r squared. So we can call this the second equation. Then we are going to equate equation 1 and 2. Since the right hand side is r squared, so we equate the left hand side. So 7 minus x squared plus, this will be 4, is equals to x squared plus 25. Fine. We expand 7 minus x, this will be 49, plus, that will be minus 14x plus x squared using the quadratic identity, then plus 4 is equals to x squared plus 25. So in our case here, x will be eliminated on both sides. Then we shall have minus 14x, 49, so this will be 25, minus 4, minus 49. If that is the case, so this is minus 14x will be equal to minus 28. 25 plus minus 4, and that is 21. So 21 minus 49, that is minus 28. So x will be 2, positive 2. And the question requires us to find what? R. So we can take either of the, we have equation 1, equation 2. So let me consider equation 1. R squared is equals to x squared plus 25. So x is 2 squared plus 25, which is 4 plus 25, which is 29. Therefore, since we have been given condition, we leave the answer in third form. That will be r is equals to, we take the positive value of the length, that will be positive root 29, and that is the answer. root 29 centimeter. So we leave it in third form. We move on to question 7. And in question 7 says a rectangle ABCD in which AB is equal to 12 centimeter and BC is 5 centimeter is the base of a right pyramid whose apex is V, and VA is equals to VB, which is equal to VC, which is equal to VD, which is equal to 13 centimeter. And the point M is the midpoint of the edge VC. Calculate correct to 2 decimal places the length of line AM. Also here, it comes from the topic of three-dimensional geometry or 3D geometry, and in our case we need to identify lines, we need also to identify the planes and the use of Pythagoras theorem. So the first thing we are going to do, and since this is a rectangular pyramid, so I'll first draw the rectangle. I need to draw that pyramid. Then so this is the pyramid whereby A, B, C, D, and that is the rectangle, and then V is the vertex, apex or vertex, then VA, VB, VC, VD, they are equal, and that is 13 centimeter. Also, AB is 12 centimeter, BC is 5 centimeter. Now we have the dimensions. So the other thing I'm going to do, just to make a dotted from A to C and also from B to D, and then we have the perpendicular height. So the question requires us to find length of AM, and M is the midpoint of edge VC, so VCM is the midpoint VC. And if that is the case, VC, therefore, if we draw a perpendicular from M to A, that will actually be perpendicular. And therefore, we are going from triangle ABC. In the first place, we need actually also to get AC. We need to get AC. That is the first thing. We know this is 13. Now let us get AC so that we get to know some values or some property. That is very important. So AC at B, plane ABCD, at B it is 90. Therefore we use Pythagoras theorem. So AC squared is equals AB squared plus BC squared. So this will be 12 squared plus 5 squared, which is 144 plus 25. So AB will be square root of 169, which is 13 centimeter. Again, now we can see AV, and also AC, and then VC is 13. So in that case, plane ABC, it is equilateral triangle, since AV, AC, VC is 13 centimeter. Therefore, we can consider triangle AMC, triangle AMC. You have A, then MC. This is 13, this is 6.5. So we can get AM. So AM will be square root of, we go to the square root of AC squared plus 6.5 squared. Mean that will be minus. So this is square root of 13 squared, that is 169, minus 6.5 squared, that is 42.25. If we subtract 169 minus 42.25, we end up getting square root of 126.75. So, using calculator to get AM, which will be 11.26 centimeter. So the question requires us to give to 2 decimal places, and that's how it is done. We move on to question 8. For question 8, in the figure below, O is the center of the circle. Point A, B, C, and D lie on the circumference of the circle. Line AB is parallel to the straight line E, that is ED, O, and line FAE is a tangent to the circle at point A. Then angle FAB is equal to 8 degrees. Then angle DCA is B. Angle DOC so angle DOA is B degrees, and then angle DCB 70 degrees. So the question is, we determine the values of A and B. So the first thing we needed to know here, know that we can also be able to get DAB. Since this figure ABCD is cyclic, it touches the circle at 4 parts, so it is cyclic quadrilateral. And if it is cyclic quadrilateral, the opposite angle of a cyclic quadrilateral, they add up to 180. So we can be able to get angle DSB, which will be 180 minus 70. We get 110 degrees. That is angle DAB, all of this angle. The reason is opposite angle in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary or add up to 180 degrees. Then angle DOA, which is B, is equal to angle OAB, alternating angle, since AB and OE are parallel, so they are alternating angles. So this is also B. And angle DAO plus angle OAB, they are adding up to 1, that is 110 degrees, that is angle DAO plus angle OAB, they add up to 110 degrees. But angle DAO, this is, since this is the center, this will be the base angle of this isosceles, so they must be equal, and in that case we have 180 minus b, that is this 180 minus b is a part of the base, but we divide by 2 since they are equal, then minus angle OAB, which is b, will be, we actually add, it will be equal to 110 degrees. So this will be 180 minus b, we are multiplying through by 2, so plus 2b will be equal to 220. So this will be b minus b plus 2b, that is b equal to 220 minus 180, so b is equal to 40 degrees. Then we also have tangent EF. Tangent EF is perpendicular to the radius AO at point A, and therefore if that is the case, then A plus B is equal to 90, so we say that EF is perpendicular to AO at A, therefore A plus B will be equal to 90, so A will be 90 minus B, which is 40, and therefore A is 50 degrees. And the question was required us to find, we find FAB. Now we are able to actually work it out, and that is it. Now we have find the value of A and also the value of B, and that is, now we have answered the questions. The other question, question 9. Question 9 is actually a question on graphical method, and it tried to notice on the rate of change or plotting of points given a table, and also we determine the gradient. So on the grid provided, draw a graph of population of bacteria against time. So this is the data given, time in seconds, 0 all the way to 25, and then the number of bacteria that were recorded or growing at a particular period or time. Now, already we have been given the grid, and it is labeled, so our work is just to plot stomach. So just plotting. So we have when T is on the x-axis, and population, that is the number of bacteria, in the y-axis. So when time is 0, then number of bacteria, there were 5. When time was 5, number of bacteria was 7. And on the y-axis, the small square represent actually 1, so 7 will be exactly at this particular point. Then When it is 11, 10, population is 11, that is the point, 11 is there. Then when it is time is 15, population is 16. When time is 20 seconds, population is 24. So we have 24 at that particular point. And finally, when time is 25, population is 36. So that is where 36 is. So I can be able to now draw a curve. You can see the way we have plotted the point, it is a curve. And that is it. So now we need to answer question. We have already drawn the graph, so let us see what the question is all about. Use the graph to determine correct to 2 decimal places the average rate of change of population between t is 5 seconds and t is 20. So average, so t is 5, t is 5 at that particular point, t is 5 and t is 20. So from there we needed to draw that straight line. So that's what we are interested with. And in our case here, the coordinates, we have 20 and the other one is 24. Then the other part here, it is 5 and 7. So that is, we need to get the average rate. So average rate of change is equal to change in population over change in time. Change in population, it is 24 minus 7, 24 minus 7, and those are bacteria. And the change in the time is 20 minus 5, 20 minus 5. So 24 minus 7, that will be 17 divided by, so this is 15. So using calculator, we end up getting 1.13333 and so on. So bacteria per second. That is the rate of growth. Question 10. A circle center C, 5, 5, passes through point A, which is 1, 3, and B, which is A, 9. Find the equation of the circle and hence the possible values of A. So if you look keenly at this question, it comes from the topic of graphical method, and here we apply the general equation of a circle to find or determine the radius, and also we shall be able to get the value of A. So the first thing maybe I make a sketch of it. This is the circle, and then the center C. We have the center C, and also we have points passing through points on the circumference. We have point A here, which is 1, 3, here it's 5, 5, and then you have another point B, which is A, 9. So C is the center. And you know that equation of a circle is given by radius squared is equals to x minus A plus squared plus y minus B bracket squared, where A and B, they are the center of the circle. So in our case here, C is the B. So A is 5, B is also 5. Therefore, we can actually be able to get the equation. And something else that is very important, we can take A, and that is the value of x, y. So x is 1, y is 3. So r squared, so we have 1 minus 5 squared plus y is 3 minus b is 5 squared. So this will be r squared is equal to minus 4 squared, that will be 16, then minus 2 squared plus 4. So r squared is equals to 20. Still, we can be able to, if we take B and C now, we can also be able to get the values, determine A. Now, for B and C, also using the general equation, we'll still also apply r squared is equals to, for now we take it as x and y, so x minus 5 and but our x here is A, so A minus 5 is square, then plus y minus 9 and y minus 5, and in our case y is 9, then b is 5 is squared. So r squared is equals to, but in our case here r is 20. R is 20. So we can be able to actually substitute it here. 20 is equals to A minus 5 squared plus 9 minus 5, that is 4 squared, that is 16. Therefore, A minus 5, that will be equal to 20 minus 16, which is 4. Therefore, I need to square both sides, so I have A minus 5 is equal to plus or minus square root of 4, which is A minus 5 is equals to 2, plus or minus 2. So either A is equals to 5 plus or minus 2, i.e. A is equals to 7, 5 plus 2, 7, or 5 minus 2, 3. So those are the possible values of A, and that's how it was solved. We move on to question 11. And the figure below represents the curve of function y is equals to 1 minus a sine wx for the range minus 35 degrees is less or equals to x is less or equals to 50 degrees. Now, this is a graph given on the trigonometric curve, that is y is equals 1 minus a sine wx. So the first question is asking so the question here requires us to find or determine a and w. So a is the amplitude. Remember, you write the wave equation. So a is the amplitude, and amplitude is the distance from the mean position. So from our case here, if you see this curve, the maximum point is 3, y is 3. So amplitude A will be given by maximum value of y minus minimum value of y divided by 2, and in that case it is 3 minus, so here we have actually it is minus 1 divided by 2, so 4 over 2, so we get 2. So the amplitude is 2. That is the amplitude. In other words, this is the that is the midway where the trigonometric curve is. Alright, the other one is we find W, and that is the period. And how do we get period? And we need to observe it from the graph. Period, we need to observe it from the graph. If we look keenly, there are two ways we can be able to go about. Period is given by 360 divided by W. So W will be 360 over the period. Period is a time for one complete oscillation. So we started from minus 35 all the way up to up to this particular point. That's where the curve has completed one oscillation, and the difference will be 25 minus 35. So we end up getting that is 60 degrees. 60 degrees. That is a period. That is the period. Therefore, if that is the case now, period is 60 degrees. Now we need to get W. W will be 360 divided by 60, which is 6. So question 12. And in question 12, we have the data which is given and the number of animals owned by 7 neighbors: 9, 5, 14, 6, 8, 13, and 15. So the question requires we correct the nearest whole number. The the standard deviation of the number of animals. So this ungroup data and they just fill. So standard deviation is given as the square root of sum of deviation over what? Over n. Now, in our case here, d is x minus the mean. If we add all the sum, we get mean. We add 9 plus 5 plus 14 plus 6, all of them. If we add, we get 70. Then we divide by the 7 neighbors, which is, the mean is 10. And if mean is 10, therefore, it means that to get d, that is the deviation from the mean. Therefore, we have 9 minus 10, that is minus 1. 5 minus 10, that is minus 5. 14 minus 10, that is 4. 6 minus 10, that is minus 4. 8 minus 10, that is minus 2. 13 minus 10, that is 3. And 15 minus 10, that is 5. So, if you add all this, you will get 0. So, we need to square it. So, deviation is square. This will be 1. 25. 16 minus 4 squared, that is 16 minus 2 squared, 4. 3 squared, 9. 5 squared, 25. So, we add all of them. Therefore, standard deviation will be, so we have 1 plus 25 plus 16 plus 16 plus 4 plus 9 plus 25. We divide by 7. And that is the square root. So this will be 96 over 7. We get 3.703. But the equation to the nearest whole number will be approximately 4. That is nearest whole number. We move on to question 13. So, we have the table below shows income tax rates in a certain year, and we have monthly taxable income in Kenya shillings. Then we have column for tax rate in each shillings. It's a percentage. So, that is the tax bracket, first, second, and the third. Then a tax relief of 1,408 shillings per month was allowed. Calculate the monthly income tax paid by an employee whose monthly taxable income was 26,545 shillings and 75 cents. That is 3 marks. So, we need to see first slab, actually, because the taxable income was 26,545 and 75 cents. So first band or first bracket or slab, the rate or the tax due was, now we have 12,298 times the tax rate, so we get 1,229.80 cents. We keep on subtracting from this value here. So second slab, so For the second slab, 23,885 minus 12,298, we shall get 11,587. In the second slab, the rate is 15%. So we multiply, we work out, we get 17.38 and 5 cents. Then third slab, which is the last, the excess now, this is now combined. Now we have 26,545.75. Subtract. We subtract 23,885 and we get the balance is 2,660 and 75 cents. So the tax rate is 20%. We work out it, we shall get 532 and 15 cents. So gross tax once added, we are getting 3,500 shillings. So the net tax, it is the tax due minus we have was given a tax relief of 1,408, so we subtract, it is always subtracted from the tax due, so shall end up getting 2,092 shillings. Next question, which is question 14. Point P, 84 minus 1 divides line AB internally in the ratio 4:1. The position vector of point A with respect to the origin O is minus 4, 8, 3. That is in column vector. Determine the coordinates of point B. We look at this question. It comes from vectors 2, and therefore the area where it tells us on how to have maybe the position vector, and also the first thing we are going to do, since this is actually a 3D vector, x, y, and z coordinates given. So, and we have point P divides line AB internally. So we have line AB, and therefore P divides internally in the ratio 4:1, and the position vector of point A. So when we talk about position vector, it is a vector from origin. So we have to indicate this from point O, and also the other one, this will be P vector, A vector, B vector. Fine. Now P is 8, 4 minus 1. A is, so the position vector of point A with respect to the origin is, so this minus 4, 8, 3 with respect to the origin. And therefore, we need to determine the coordinates of point P, X, Y, Z. That's what we require. Now, P vector, that's what we need, be equal to 4P vector. If you use the ratio theorem, then OP, use the ratio theorem, OP will be 1 out of 5 opposite of OA, which is OA, plus the other one is 4 out of 5 of OB, using the ratio theorem. So this is P vector. Now we have 1 over 5, OA is A vector, plus 4 over B, OB, that is B vector. But something which is very, very important, we are interested with the coordinates. And in this case, we still have OA. So, for us to get B, that will be 4 out of 5. So for us to get B, now let us just consider this part. OP, which is the position vector, it is 8, 4, 1, minus 1. So we write it in column vector, then we have 1 over 5. OA, that is with respect to the origin, that is minus 4, 8, 3, then plus 4 over 5. Now, and this is what we are actually looking for. So this X, Y, Z. So from here we have, so here we have 4 over 5. So this is 8, 4 minus 1, minus, here we have minus 4 over 5, then 8 over 5, and 3 over 5 will be equal to 4 over 5 x, y, z. So if we subtract this, we shall end up getting, so OB will be, I have for now, whatever value we have here, if we subtract, and here will be now divided through 5 over 4, so we get 8 minus 4 over 5, that will be 44 over 5, then 4 minus 8 over 5, that will be 12 over 5, and then we have minus 1 minus 3 over 5, that will be minus 8 over 5. So we end up getting 11, 3, 2. Multiply through by the scalar. So finally, to get the coordinates of B now, coordinates of B, for B, the coordinates will be 11, 3, 2. That is it. this was minus, so minus 11, 3 minus 2. That is it. Question 15. An aircraft took off from an airport A, which is 0 degrees 40 degrees west at 11:00 hours local time. The aircraft landed at airport B, 0 degrees 65 degrees west at 12:00 hours local time. Determine the speed of the aircraft in knots. That's 4 marks. So this question comes from the topic of longitudes and latitudes, and here we need to determine the speed in knots. Remember, the speed of aircraft can be given in knots or nautical miles per hour. Now, let me just make a sketch of the globe, and then we have this as the equator, 0 degrees, and then we have point A, which is 40 degrees west. So if I take this to be 0 degrees on the latitudes, then this is 40 degrees west. Then we have airport B, airport B, which is 65 degrees west. All the airport lies on the equator, 0 degrees. Now, from the center, we need to get the difference, or on the same longitudes, we get the longitude difference, and the longitude difference will be 65, since they're on the same side. So 65 minus 40, that is 25 degrees. Time difference is for every 1 degrees made, is 4 minutes. So on the 25 degrees difference, so it is 25 times 4. We have 100 minutes, or which is the same as 1 hour, 40 minutes. Then arc length, we need to get the arc length, the distance it covered along that longitude. So arc length, which is normally given by 60 theta, and the theta is the difference, longitude difference. So this will be 60 times 25 degrees, and actually we get 1,500 nautical miles. Time taken from 11:00 hour to 12:00 hour, and then there is the other time, the local time. So time taken, we have 12:00 hour minus 11:00 hour, then it took off at that point, and it landed. Determine the speed. So we also have the time difference from airport A and airport B. So we have to add that time difference, which is 1 hour 40 minutes. So here we get, this will be 1 hour plus 1 hour 40 minutes, which is 2 hours 40 minutes. In other words, the same as 2 and 2/3 hours. So speed of the aircraft, which is distance over time taken, and distance is in nautical miles, 1500 nautical miles, divided by, is the same as 8/3 hours. So if we work it out, so we get 562.5 nautical miles per hour, or knots. So that is it. Lastly, question 16, which is the last question in section 1, is a question on the velocity v meters per second of a particle moving in a straight line is minus 2t plus 4 meters per second. Determine the distance moved by the particle during the first second of its motion. So this particular question comes from the topic of actually integration, and the velocity of a particle is given as minus 2t plus 4 meters per second. So whatever is required is distance s during the first second. So for us to get a distance s, remember that for a velocity time graph, if you have a graph of velocity time graph, and then you find its gradient or the area under the curve, it normally gives distance. Otherwise, I mean t and v. Maybe that is the area under the curve. It is normally gives distance v, which is in meters per second, times time. So second will cancel, so we end up getting meters, so which represent it is distance. Therefore, we need to integrate. For us to get distance s, we need to integrate velocity with respect to time. So velocity with respect to time, and we have the limits. The question says during the first second of its motion, so from 0 all the way to 1. So we are going to integrate with minus 2t plus 4 dt. So we integrate, this will be now the range, integrating, so that we have minus 2t power 1. We add 1, we divide by the new power, then plus that 4 is raised to 0, plus 1 divided by the new power, and the limit from 0 to 1, which will be minus t squared plus 4t, 0 to 1. So we substitute the value in, so we have minus, we have 1 squared plus 4 times 1, then minus, we substitute 0, everything will become 0. So this will be minus 1 plus 4. We get 3. So the distance is 3 meters. And that is it. That is the end of section 1. And thank you so much. Keep on watching. Very soon I will post section B of this particular paper. Thank you so much.